So, Omari, thanks for coming today. This is kind of week two of a kind of sharing stories about organizations in Chicago that are having a huge impact, whether it be on different areas of Chicago or the youth or something specific. And so a few months ago, maybe only even a year ago now at this point, we met through a colleague, Dr. Carol Collin. Very excited that she kind of introduced us.
Yes.
And you are the president and founder of Get Out and Learn Something, short for G.O.A.L.S. And so today we're going to be talking with Omari about himself, about G.O.A.L.S, about why he wanted to start this organization and kind of about some of the impact that he's having now, that he's wanting to have, and then finishing with some shameless plugs. So to start that, Omari, let's talk a little bit about yourself. So kind of what's your biography, if you want to share anything?
Sure. So I was kind of raised in Naperville, Illinois, so a suburban youth, and went on to Elmhurst College. I felt the need to work in education. As a minority youth, I did not see a number of fellow teachers of the same background, so I felt that there needs to be more of a presence in the classroom. So history was always my favorite subject, so I went into secondary education history and had some fun learning how to teach in Athens, Greece, Delphi, and just a number of wonderful experiences that I had. And shortly after graduation, I started working out in District 203 in Naperville, and I wasn't as fulfilled as I thought I would be. I didn't think that I was making as much of an impact as an educator as I possibly could have. So I went to Chicago, and I started teaching. My first school was off of 55th and Ashland, so I got right into the heart of it. Yeah. And it had its ups and downs, but it kept me encouraged, and I felt like I was doing the right thing. One of the things that I noticed, growing up was a lack of exposure between, some of the minority youth and their counterparts. And especially when it came to after school programming, we kind of grew up with the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, but, in recent years, there had been kind of a decline and they weren't as present as they used to be. So I felt there needed to be something, an outlet for the youth to be able to take advantage of. When we have them sitting silently for 7-8 hours and there not being any types of avenues for them to really explore, it can make an impact on them, both academically and socially as well. So I decided to found an organization called Get Out and Learn Something G.O.A.L.S, that hopefully would be a catalyst for change in the lives of these at-risk and underprivileged youth, and hopefully something that will help build their social, academic, and emotional skills as well, so they can be better stewards in the communities that they live in.
All right. Yeah, thank you for that background. One of the questions I have is why youth? Why did you want to start in that area specifically?
We always subscribe to these notions like the youth are our future and they're the tomorrow of all these types of things. And it really is true. There's going to be a time when we do get older and there has to be some type of succession plan, even just in that. Somebody that's mature enough and equipped enough to be able to take the reins once it's time for us to sit down. Really, I've learned that you really can't start exposing youth too soon. I'm blessed to say that I was traveling, to Mexico and a number of different countries, even before double digits. And, not everybody's able to have that same story. But, when we try to bridge those gaps, those experiences do make the difference, I believe. And the more that we're able to provide those experiences, the more that we're able to foster hope for a larger of the generation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. So when I first heard about G.O.A.L.S, one of the things that stuck out to me, mostly because my wife and I have been very lucky to have traveled a lot in our past and want to keep traveling because we feel it has kind of shaped who we are today and kind of exposed us to a lot of things in a good way. And that is one of the programs that you try to work towards and expose to some of the kiddos that you're working with. is to eventually get to the point where they're able to travel. Talk a little bit more about what impact you think traveling for youth could have.
Well, I can first of all draw from my own personal. It's infectious. Traveling truly is. Once you start, it's hard to stop.
Yes.
There's so many things to see, so many people just to interact with. And it really changes your perspective, not only of yourself, but the world around you. And that's a lesson that I learned early on. And you mentioned the Passion to Passports initiative, and it's a 2-year program in which the youth are able to study about a particular culture that we all kind of decide on as a cohort. And throughout those 2 years, they learn about that culture. They learn how to speak the language to a certain degree. They partner with the Culinary Arts program, and they learn how to make a couple of dishes from that particular culture. And we also go on some excursions as well in the area, sometimes out of state as well. So they're able to kind of submerge themselves in a community of a culture that they would have not originally thought to go to. So over the course of those 2 years, they kind of go native a little bit. Yeah. And towards the end of those 2 years, we actually do take them to that particular country. So they are able to actually get a tangible experience of the 2 years that they've spent faithfully studying and stretching themselves. And, as a person who's been able to take a part of that, it's a phenomenal experience to be able to see things that you heard about, read about, and being able to say, wow, I actually was able to see the Parthenon. I was actually able, to see the Eiffel Tower. Those are the types of memories that we believe will be able to go with them for the rest of their life. So even, when life may give them a true kick down in their later years, they have something that they're able to go back towards as a piece of accomplishment to keep them encouraged going forward, hopefully.
Yeah, that's powerful. Is this a newer program, or have you done it in the past, or is it kind of on the roadmap?
This is a newer program. This is on the map. Yeah. We're looking to implement this spring of 2021, get the cohort first going, and decide on the country of study that they're interested in. Yeah. So continue to be with us. Give us your thoughts as we continue to go down this route and get this going.
All right. Other than the travel program, what are some other programs that you've done with the youth so far?
Yep. So we really offer supplemental educational programming in the format of summer and after school programming. And we offer really a plethora of programming. We do our Passports to Passion to Passports is in our cultural anthropology section. We do life leadership skills, where the youth learn about entrepreneurship, financial literacy, workforce development, soft and hard skills, things to really prepare them for adulthood. We also offer art in the types of different variety of techniques that happen. Culinary Arts, as I briefly mentioned a little bit before, they do a number of recipes, how to understand a recipe. Our favorite is the chopped activities based off of the show. So the children or the youth are given a basket of things and they have to figure out how to make something delectable out of that. It has been fun and memorable, yes, as I can say. We also do music. We have a band orchestra and also a choir, and we also have our gardening, which is a part of our culinary arts, and we also offer theater as well.
Yeah. Well, the full course.
Yes. We really try. We believe vehemently that there are multiple intelligences rather than just the old-fashioned reading, writing, and arithmetic. And we believe that, youth can be very strong in a number of aspects that generally our society does not tend to shine a good light on. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we'll try to diminish that, but we try to not only boost their self-confidence in this, but also tailor their skills that they may have as well.
Right. Absolutely. In the education system today, are you trying to figure out where some gaps are in the learning and development that they do from K to 12? And are you trying to fill those gaps with some of the programs that you guys have evolved, or how have those programs developed?
We've really kind of taken a step away from the traditional classroom setting. We really our model tries to be, non-conforming to that. We have, in my background as an educator, I'm aware of, the debate between long versus short school days and all those types of topics that can go on forever. But we've taken some of the anecdotal evidence that we've been able to acquire, and that's really been sort of the tailoring for not only the methodology, but the pedagogy for how we implement our programming. So knowing that there are no cookie cutter youth, we try to incorporate a number of different techniques to be able to facilitate the lessons to the youth, and hopefully with the pedagogy, a number of different ways as well for us to manage that as well, so that we know that this is a new innovative technique, but it's also working as well. And it's tying to our retention of our youth and overall the success of the objectives per that particular program.
Yeah, that's another question. I'm curious as to how you're measuring the impact that you might be having or that you are having, and how are you using that data, if you have any, or the outcomes or the stories that maybe the youth are sharing of the impact it's had on them?
Absolutely. Really, we sit down with the facilitators of the program. We have them as experts in their particular field. A number of them have been doing this 20 plus years. So they kind of have the idea as to what success looks like for their particular program. So with that in mind, as the type of capstone that they may have towards the end of the summer or after school program, the youth use their lessons to work and build towards that. We also keep track of them based off of every lesson and activity that we do through an activity report that allows the instructor to be able to reflect off of the lesson that was facilitated, how it was facilitated, if the objective was met, and if not, what could potentially be done to make sure that they reach a higher baseline the next time they were to reteach it.
Okay. And do you have is communities that you guys serve, or certain areas of Chicago, or
really all of Cook County? So we serve. We started out in the southern suburbs and have had a good hold there. However, we've been blessed to be able to go over to the west side of Chicago and help as well as there, and was able to actually get the endorsement of Congressman Danny Davis to say, they're active and they're doing good work in the community. And that's very encouraging, right? To let us know that we're still on the right track and somebody is able to notice that as well. But we service youth all throughout Chicagoland area, the suburbs as well.
All right. Is there any, yes?
Question from the audience.
Yes, question from the audience.
Is there an age range of which you're supporting the youth, or is it kind of all mixed?
Really, we service youth ages 8 to 18. So we really want them to be with us for a decade and be able to see the growth that they have over that course of that decade.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, thank you for that question. That's our first question of live streaming, by the way. So I just want to give a shout out to that person.
That person would be your wife.
Thanks, wife. Stories. Do you have any kind of stories that come to mind of a specific youth that has maybe shared the impact that it's had on them that you want to share?
I would say the very first summer that we did our programming, there was a youth by the name of Kendall. And she was one of the youth that was a little rougher around the edges, but had a great heart. And, as I find myself in education, those seem to correlate so frequently. It's interesting. But, she was one of the ones that it was a little bit harder for her to stay on task. And but there was a project that she liked. It was part of our life leadership skills, entrepreneurship. And that was probably the most in tune, the most interactive that we had from her. And she told us that she wanted to start her own business at some point. I believe it was nails. So, we worked with her. We told her about, business plan to the point of, a middle schooler would be able to understand. But that really kind of got the wheels turning with her. And if I'm not mistaken, because I still try to keep track with them. Even if they choose to leave the organization, she's still trying to do nails on her own. So it's beautiful that that seed has kind of been planted. You never know what may have happened if she had not been a part of the programming, but to know that she still wants to have that financial independence, and that she ended up a little bit more on task with all of the other programs, I think was a success overall.
That's great. That's a great story. Hopefully she reaches out and kind of shares how she's progressing.
Yes.
All right. So we've gone over a lot of what you guys are doing. When is the next session start, and what's a planning process for the following session like?
Well, our next session is actually getting ready to start up this Monday, July 6th. We'll be doing our virtual summer session. It's going to be from July 6th until July 30th, Monday through Thursday from 12 p.m. until 3 p.m. And we're excited about it. We're going to be offering culinary arts like leadership skills. The garden program is going to be up and running for that, and music and art as well. So, the planning for that was very interesting. And, with the recent pandemic, it's caused us to be very innovative in our thinking and our implementation of programming. And, I think it's been almost a blessing in disguise, because I believe that we've been able to reach even more youth virtually, rather than, just a brick and mortar building. Even if, so be it, out of state is interested, we're able and have the capacity to reach youth even in different states. So it's really interesting. Like I said, the planning comes part of starting off with the end goal per each program. What does each facilitator want to see as the culmination of their learning, from weeks of learning all the way to months of learning when we look at the after school program? What does that look like? And then trying to, scale that down as to a day by day, objective by objective, what that looks like for the youth and for the facilitator as well.
All right. Well, that's great. So, shameless plugs at the end here. How could people get engaged if they want to, be a part of the culinary program or the theater program or the travel program? Like, how do people typically get engaged?
Absolutely.
With goals?
We are always looking for volunteers, internships. High school youth, if you want to volunteer, you are able to get community service hours through your volunteering, helping to tutor some of the youth. One of the things that I forgot to mention is we do offer tutoring for our youth. We believe that it's necessary for them to be, sharp both academically and in some of the other multiple intelligences. But you can like us and follow us on Facebook. Get Out and Learn Something. We are on Instagram as well. Get Out and Learn Something. If you're so led to donate, we are on Cash App, $HSTRY, the word history without the vowels. Yep. And you can also check our website out at getoutandlearnsomething.com.
All right. Great. Yes.
If we know of youth that could be a part of your program, how do they go about applying for goals?
Absolutely. More than welcome to contact us via our Gmail, getoutandlearnsomething@gmail.com. Just send the inquiry and a representative will reach out to you as expeditiously as possible.
Awesome. Any other questions? Great. Omari, thank you so much for your time and for traveling over here to do this recording and live stream. And we'll be posting these videos so people could follow up with you afterwards.
Thank you again for having me, Joseph. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Great.